How did I manage to eat one of these delicious donuts every single day for 14 days in a row and still drop 3 kilos? Well, some of you thinking maybe Alex has some magical super fast metabolism, and maybe some of you are thinking that's pretty obvious. Whichever category you're in, let's discuss it and stick around. I think you might be surprised on my findings and how hard or easy this was, and what I recommend you guys should do if you're wanting to fit your own favorite tasty foods into your plan and still get great results. Now, it is important to note that I did absolutely, I promise you, nothing different than I usually would with my normal diet when it comes time for my fat loss phase, which is what I just started. There were no crash diet, fad diet, dropping to insanely low calories, none of that stuff. This was exactly what I would have normally done coming into my fat loss phase, my summer shred, trying to drop a few kegs to feel better, look better. The only difference was I decided I'm gonna eat a donut every single day and let's challenge myself, see how much that actually makes a difference. So the simple answer is I lost this weight because I entered a calorie deficit, meaning I was burning more calories on a day-to-day basis than I was consuming, even when having this daily donut. Contrary to popular belief, it does not matter where these calories come from. As long as you do not consume more calories than you're burning, you will remain in a calorie deficit and you will start to drop weight. Now, obviously, don't just take that sentence and run with it, because you don't want to just be trying to fill your calories with a whole bunch of junk food or tasty treats, because it's going to be basically impossible if you try to do that. So to quickly clear this up, the 2 reasons why people don't think you can fit favorite foods or things like this into their plan and still lose weight is because, number 1, we aren't taught this in school, and I honestly think we should be, but that's a topic for another video. And number 2 is, if you think about it, it kind of does make sense. How would I be able to eat junk food on a consistent basis, and still drop a bunch of weight and get great results? Now, I 110% see where you're coming from with that thought process, as it is the exact same thought process I used to have when I was first starting out. This is why I put so much time and effort into educating my clients on how fat loss actually works, like how to achieve it, how to sustain it, etc., etc. The real reason why you can't eat these delicious foods on a consistent basis and get results, necessarily speaking, is because they have they have 0 nutritional value, which basically means they have no vitamins and minerals, and they are very high in calories and low in making you feel satiated. AKA, in English, that basically means it's very easy to eat a fuck ton of these delicious foods and they'll barely fill you up, which means you'll not be able to stick within your calorie targets. And if you do that on a consistent basis, you're gonna go over, which honestly led me to this experiment. And to keep 100% honest with you guys, it was a lot harder than I expected. By day 3, probably day 4, maybe 5, I didn't want to eat the donut anymore. And not because I was getting sick of them, because let's be real, how can you get sick of donuts? But for the main reason of it was taking up calories that I could be getting from more micronutrient dense beneficial foods. And when you drop your calories into a calorie deficit, especially at the initial stage, one of the first processes usually are, you're gonna feel a little bit hungry. This did not help me stick to the plan whatsoever. Actually, it probably made it harder because, like I just mentioned, it was taking away food that I could have been eating from more filling foods. So therefore I had to leave more calories towards the end of the day to make sure I didn't get to the end of the day and was absolutely starving. One of the other downfalls of this is there isn't actually a local Krispy Kreme or donut shop, so I had to just go like Coles, the Servo, and you can either buy a few donuts, but they go off in a couple of days. So basically I was having to do a daily Servo run or Coles run just to get one donut, and it is not ideal. So what did I actually learn from this experiment? Well, I learned if you do want to eat junk food on a consistent basis and get results, you absolutely can. You just have to keep in mind it's going to be a lot harder. Now, obviously for some people that is a given, but a lot of people don't realize that you can do these types of things and still get great results. So therefore, taking it a little bit further and doing it every single day like I did, I just wanted to prove it is possible. Now, the second thing was, although yes, it definitely does come down to like calories in versus calories out Obviously, as you can see what I'm saying, there's a lot more to it than that. And the main thing, like I always say, is it has to be sustainable and you have to somewhat feel satiated as much as possible on a diet. So doing something like this every single day is not gonna be ideal. So would I recommend this? Probably not. What I would recommend is, doing something like this 1 to 2 times per week. And keep in mind, a donut isn't too bad. They range from, a couple hundred calories up to like 400-500 for the best ones. But that's still a good chunk of your daily intake, especially if you are on lower calories. If you're a small female, you might be on under 2,000 calories, 1,700, whatever it is. That's a pretty big chunk out of that, if you ask me. So I personally think doing this 1 to twice a week tops is probably gonna be around about the sweet spot for most people. This way you get the best of both worlds. You get that balance like I'm always talking about. You still get your tasty treats on a weekly basis and you get sustainable results that you can keep long term. So again, take home points. Number 1, you can 100% eat junk food in a diet and still get great results. Number 2, I would always recommend, coming from this experiment, doing it 1 or 2 times per week tops. And take home point number 3, doing something like this is actually very inconvenient because you have to drive down to the survey every single day just to get 1 donut. Hopefully this little experiment showed you that it is more than possible to still enjoy your favorite foods and get great results, but overall balance is always gonna be key. Just leave the dumb ideas like eating donuts every day and stupid things like that up to me. I got you covered. If you wanna see a video that has a lot more healthy eating, high volume, tons of food, low calories, then click this video here.